Welcome to the very last coffee hour of CPSI and the penultimate CPSI session. Tony Billoni taking some CPSI magic home. I mean, where you already are right now, but now with more hominess to it. And this is going to be wonderful. Tony has been sending me messages, and this is going to really tap in and set us up for the closing at 1 o'clock. And this is going to be so delightful.
Oh boy.
So delightful. Tony, send us home.
Would I like to build on that and say that we never quite leave CPSI completely. And let's see if we could do a little work on that in the next few minutes. I often have attended a lot of New Age festivals over the years, and friends that I've done that with on the last day would say, well, time to return back to mundania. So let's try and see what we can do to do, like Beth said, I'm beholden to our co-founder, Sid Parnes, and he often referred to B as not just his wife and best friend, but a true partner in the growth of CPSI. And if anyone knew B Parnes, she was not one to be trifled with. And her love of us and everything about it is apparent. She's still with us. I think she's 100 now. Is she made that milestone, or 99? But this is in honor of Sid and B. So what basically we're going to do is try and create something outside of our language that you can take with you to represent what just happened. That's the simple explanation. So to that end, I'd like you to have some markers and paper ready. If you had followed the suggestions in the session, I ask that you have some things that will excite your senses. I see your Dina is doing that already. It's okay. So we're going to try and get you to play with taste and touch and smell if you've got things nearby. So the first thing I'd like you to do is think about what just occurred to you over the last 3 weeks. You could start here and work backward. You could go back to day one. I jump into CPS if you were part of that, and think lightly of all the sessions that you've attended. And if you have your paper and markers ready, rather than using any words, make a drawing, an icon, a symbol, or anything that depicts what just happened. Have at it. Have fun. And try and, if you got to use words, then try and make them arty. Try and make them look like symbols. Is it a single symbol representing a feeling? Is it a cartoon? Is it a series of panels? Is it a mind map? Is it faces of people you've met? Vision for the future? Drawing skills not important here, folks. This is something that's meaningful to you. Full of positive energy. What was your favorite moment? Who did you meet? Who would you like to stay in touch with? What was a really challenging concept you'd like to know more about? You can keep drawing, but if you also have any objects, anything to smell, anything to taste nearby, do it. Touch something. Smell if you have a candle, if you have some food that smells, or taste it. Just let it happen. And let whatever feelings, thoughts, memories come up from that experience. Just let it all flow. And as they do, what might you add to your drawing or image or markings that you've just made? What was a session that you're going to look at that you missed? And what about that title of that session intrigued you, or the description, or the person? If you're brand new to CPSI or just got a couple years in, what's different about you today than 3 weeks ago? Beth is putting some great prompts in the chat. What fun did you have? What was the most fun? Why don't you make just a few more marks on your pages, your page? And I'd like you to share, if we could, whoever has that level of CPSI courage. Let's just go another few seconds, and then I'm gonna, all of you that are compelled, I want you to hold up your images first with no words. We're just gonna see what you put on paper. We'll give it another 30 seconds. All right, let's have it. Hold up what you wrote. Let's get a clear picture. We'll get a screenshot of that. Look at this beautiful art. I love it.
Wait. Keep holding.
Oh my goodness. Look at the similarity with Ellen and Stephanie. Interesting. Marta, turn yours a little to the side. It's almost too white.
All right, all right, all right.
Now the rubber meets the road. Who wants to talk about their image? Just unmute and have at it. Who's the,
I'll go.
go ahead.
So this was mine, the one that looked kind of like Ellen's. Or is it Ellen? So this is representing expansion for the most part, but also the little branches are. This is CPSI is where I premiered the Hug Accountable concept, and I am so like humbled and thrilled, and like it's the best place ever to do that. And so this is like a big hug, but it's like beyond like just two arms. It's like because it's like limitless. So that's what this is about.
Powerful. Powerful. Who else?
Okay, so mine, I don't know. Let's see.
There we go.
Mine is dedicated to Beth, the Wings, and everybody at CPSI. And it's called the Rest Room because I think we should rename CPSI to Sleep Deprivation Institute. I know they haven't gotten much sleep in the last couple of weeks. And before that, you know, we've all been there because when CPSI was alive, we used to work there, and that's how it was. So thank you, all of you, for all the support and all the wonderful work you've done and how easy you made it to work. So, okay, that's my part.
Harry, thank you. Who else?
Yep, I can share. So I went back to kind of thinking of the pandemic and both virtual CPSIs, which have both been just unbelievable, enriching experiences. And then if you can see my beautiful open hand, I feel that I have ways of giving that I didn't have before. And so just coming out of the pandemic is this very rich, very meaningful experience.
Wow. Let's get a couple more.
I'll share.
Thank you, Jane. Is that you? No, Fern.
No, it's
Go
Fern.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so this is mine. I went back. This actually incorporates a few different sessions, but there was our first self-portrait that we did, you know, with our eyes closed, and a little bit of the drawing with, you know, eyes that are a little more expressive, but I now have big eyes to look at things a little differently. So my mouth is a wow, and I've got the sun around for, you know, sort of the rays of light that have come in. And there's the scaffolding that we did this morning, and my kitchen table from the poetry and photography and new ways of looking at images, which also goes back to the coffee hour that we had, looking at photographs from a different way, different perspectives.
Thank you. We're going to go a little deeper in just a moment, but what I want to reflect on and get your reflections on, and you could put it in the chat or say it out loud, is what's different in making images rather than words, and what did the little sensory dive do for you? Images can convey emotion better. Drawing forces us to get to the essence. I'm going to build on that, Deborah, and be gentle and guide us. guide us to get to the essence. And it's like, and you could make it as messy as you want. Isn't words on paper almost too precise? Is CPSI precise or imprecise? Less linear, more free flowing. Help me to think deeper about things. Truth. Anyone want to just share out loud? Mary Ellen.
So way back in November or December, when the first ask for proposals comes in, it's always, oh, I'm wondering what will happen when I send in a proposal, especially when I reach out to my good friend and collaborator, Cheryl. And so I have to say that this CPSI was a wow, for not only being able to put a two-part presentation together on poetry and photography, my two loves, as well as Cheryl's two loves, but also to have an amazing group of participants who shared so freely and took the in-between time to really explore. So it's just, as somebody putting a workshop together, all I can say, it's a big, how can I do this? Big love. And poetry and photography is all about emotions. And I think that's the one thing that I love about CPSI, is that you're free to express without anything holding you back. Plus a big shout out to Beth and all the wings that helped, and Missy as well, that helped to put everything together. Big shout out.
I love thank you very much, Mary Ellen. That was a really rich sharing of your experience and what CPSI is, and I couldn't agree. And Marta has a lovely point in that we use 70% of the brain when we use our hands. What I'd like you to do right now is close your eyes, and I want you to have a little visualization, and that you may be home, you may have been home or wherever through this whole CPSI experience, but you have your image now, but you also have CPSI and all that happened in the last 3 weeks. And it's a month from now. And you're doing what you do in your life and in your location and in your place. But you have your image and you have CPSI with you. And I just want you to imagine what your actions are like, and not necessarily specific actions. If specific actions come up, so be it. You're in your car, you're on your way to work, you're at a job, you're performing a task, you're with your family, you're in your community, but more about how do you do what you do? What part of CPSI is with you when you're out there a month from now, 2, 3, or more? Just let it sink in. Just breathe. Just keep breathing. Maybe you're floating above wherever you live, wherever you go. You're watching it from above. What is the image saying to you? What are you saying to the image? When people ask you, what did you do the last 3 weeks? What other ways could you tell them rather than just talking about these sessions? What came of the session? What changed for you? What will you do? Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and you can look at your image and make more marks. Add to your image. You're carrying your image into the future. Carrying your image away from CPSI into your world. Your image is your bridge from where you are right now to where you want to go. Several of you wrote about these images carrying the essence. What is the essence of CPSI for you? This CPSI, the CPSI community. The flow of CPSI. You and CPSI flowing. Don't be stingy. Use more paper if you need it. Let it grow. Let it blossom. Let it evolve. What session has a secret message for you, for your image? What does CPSI taste like? Cotton candy. Honey. Champagne bubbles. Of course, Beth. Nice cup of coffee. Chocolate. What does CPSI feel like? This is what it feels like to me. A super cape. Cotton candy and champagne together. Let's go just a few more seconds because I'm going to ask you to show your new image and talk more about it. Tastes like chocolate, feels like silk. Lightness, insights, huge ahas. Oh, 4th of July sparklers. Playing in the ball pit at McDonald's as an adult. Kind of feels like silk, seems dripping and soft. Hug accountable. Different tastes which are great together. Let's see your drawings now. Your images, your marks. Ooh. Ah, look at how you built on yours, Stephanie. Ellen, lovely. Oh my goodness. So colorful and rich. Ah. What changed? What did you add? You could put it in the chat. I'd love to hear someone talk. Who'd like to share? Turns ha-has into ahas. Ah, very nice, Harry. Feels like acceptance from old friends.
I can share mine. Caveat, it's copyrighted right down here. So just so you know, you can't steal this image. What I call this keep balloons flying. And I did a little balloon bouquet with different things like the tools and kinesthetic, which was brought to the forefront again for me. I think the biggest thing for me was just a sweet reminder that creating takes a huge amount of vulnerability and courage, and it can be excruciatingly difficult. So for me, my session on empathy was a huge leap of faith and excruciatingly difficult. Took a lot of courage and a lot of vulnerability, but the payoff in the satisfaction in putting something out in the world can be just incredible.
Marta, could you show us the image again? People didn't see it.
For some reason, it's not showing up really well. It's just, trust me, it's nothing impressive. It's a bunch of
no, it is.
With little circles, little bubbles. I'm not a drawer, so I wrote a lot of words, like ice cream on a hot Texas day is what it tastes like for me, taking a leap of faith. And it feels like silk, soft and comfortable.
That's lovely, Marta. How do you feel on the other side of that vulnerability now?
And I think maybe some of you can relate to that feeling of coming up with an idea, creating something, and that angst right beforehand, not sure how the world is going to receive it. Then you put it out into the world. It's like giving birth, having a baby, and you don't want anybody to call your baby ugly, right? You want it to be well received. And there's just a huge satisfaction in knowing that you were stretched. So you stepped out of your comfort zone. And this was a big stretch for me. So the theme of grow really resonated with me because growing is not always pleasant. Sometimes it's pruning, sometimes it's stretching, and that can be painful. But then on the other end, when you see that you have grown it's just a huge amount of satisfaction and just taking pleasure in what you've been able to create.
That's lovely. That's really rich. We now have a suggestion to include cotton candy and champagne on the menu next year. And I say a big yes on that.
If anybody wants to sponsor it, I will so get permission from Beth Miller.
Who else would like to share about where they took their image in this last round? Mary Ellen's eating dark chocolate right now. I loved how much more rich, and I've seen a lot more color, more symbols on your pages, some added words. Let's have one more person, because then I have one more step for you.
I'll share, Tony.
Thank you, Deborah.
So I'm hesitant because there's just so much. I know that I didn't get it all. But what I put in the middle is this one, because we and make ourselves like get the essence of what we wanted to say. And all around it are all the things that gave me that tearful appreciation. Everything from Marta's session to dancing with people to the wine. What if with Walt and Donna? The poetry, of course, and some people like Sarah and Liz and Yardena who were really
We're here for you.
they were just so kind and appreciative, and Marilyn Barefoot too. Just, you don't think that you can do this across the waves. You can't.
It's just, you got me going. And I got to share, those of you that know Sid, when he was happiest, he was crying. So you got it, Deborah. You're channeling Sid for all of us.
Okay, cool.
I'm tearing up myself right now. Okay, if you have your sensory items and you'd like to have a touch, have a taste, have a smell, I'd like you to just go in one more time. Hearts are tied to tear ducts. A lot of love for you, Deb. Because here's the last step. And if you wish to use words, feel free. We already left CPSI with your image and imagine what things are like in a month. Write down 1 or 2 or 3 things that you will do. What will you do to take CPSI with you? I just get a twinge saying that because I've been around for quite some time. You know, there's a few on here, Mary Ellen and Harry and some others that have been around that have been longer than me, and we just keep coming because this is fresh, and Renee, fresh and new every year. But we keep coming back. It's almost like finding a vein of gold that just never gets fully mined out. Because you all knew together, you know, we may have all been together last year, but that was last year. Now we're all together this year, and that's now. You know, so carry it forward. What will you do? It's a work church for our souls. There's a phrase to grab. That's beautiful. Spirits renewed. Beth Slazak, queen of being pithy. You're so pithy, my dear. something old, something new, something borrowed, something CEF green. We are married to creativity. I now pronounce you creativity and creator. And Renee, we agree, we are all different in some ways from last year, from now, and tomorrow, and the next day. But we carry forward things we wish to carry. And what CPSI showed me was that I get to choose. And the CEF process is a process of constant releasing judgment, applying judgment, defer and converge, diverge and converge, release judgment, but then gently apply judgment, one after the other. And this process showed me that it's iterative. It's not one and done. Try it and oh, I'm a failure because it didn't come out. No, you didn't reach the vision you set for yourself. Go back in. Diverge, converge again. What concerns you? Right now, just write down 2 or 3 or more things you want to take with you. Mary Ellen's daughter just got married, so there was a marriage in the family, and she's gone to CPSI. I remember her well. Who wants to share some things they're going to carry forward? And how did the image help? You could put it in the chat. I'll definitely be connecting with you, Leo. Thank you. Find Leo on LinkedIn. Who's going to share one thing they're taking forward? Mary Ellen?
I'm going to share 2 things. Number one, a month from now, I'm going to invite people who are part of poetry photography to do a Zoom session and share any poems or photos. I'll set that up in the next couple of days, so stay tuned. Email me at mev500@yahoo.com if you're interested. And then secondly, I've been not struggling, but I've been trying to get impetus to put together a meditation photography daily book. And I got lots of great ideas, especially in Greg's last session where we're mashing together different concepts. So it might not be a book, but I will have something done by the end of the year.
Greg, I'm honored to be on the same day who Greg is a mentor of mine and a colleague and a man who definitely carries the CPSI energy with him wherever. Real smart guy and true CPSI energy. What else? Who else has got something to share that they're going to take forward with them?
I'll jump in there. This is Shelley. I have always talked about perspective, but keeping track of others' use of perspective so that we could do the Friday nightcap recap. It's amazing how many different perspectives and tools that people spoke about and ways of doing them. Hold versus hug accountability, and Aaron talking about mad ideas, and Katie, talking about our looking at it from our senses, and Liz talked about using metaphors, and the list just goes on and on and on. That I tracked to talk about, and it's amazing to me. You think there's a couple of perspectives, but CPSI proves that there's just so many tools and ways of using perspective that I'm going to continue learning and talking about it in the future. I love it.
Thank you so much, Shelley. Spoiler alert, Not only are there so many tools and ways to do CPS out there, you get to make your own, and you will. You'll start looking at the context, the group, the context of the situation, the group you're working with, and something's going to inspire you to say, I'm going to try this in this way. You might take an existing tool and adapt it. You might come up with something brand new. What new, brand new, spanking, sparkling new, champagne bubble new perspective did you get in the last 3 weeks that you'd love to share with someone? And that when someone says, what was that CPSI all about? What's the first thing you would tell them? You gonna share?
There's too many. I'll let somebody else try and jump in, and if I can think of like the one, I hate saying one that bubbles to the top because there were so many. I still think MAD, the using the acronym MAD to look at and come up with. I had never heard that acronym and I hadn't used it before. So those are brand new bubbles for me. So I will mention that one, but I'll let others jump in.
Beautiful. And Leo shared about Creative Mornings field trips. We have a Creative Mornings here in Buffalo. And I've actually been part of their field trips. And Yardena is learn what true empathy is, beginner mindset, power of poetry, reading it 3 times aloud. Poetry itself, I actually found a site called Poem a Day, and they'll send you an email with a new poem every day. And they not only publish it to read it, so reading it is one thing, the author or somebody recites it out loud so you get an audio version of it. And it's incredible how different it is reading and hearing poetry. Social presencing theater is something that Elian, I'm sorry if I got your name wrong.
Yeah, it's Aileen, but it's okay. I really loved the session which we did the stuck exercise. That we first did a relaxation exercise, and then we started to let our body talk about a situation that you were stuck, and then go on with your body and move around, and then we put it into words and made a haiku, and it was really nice because it's better to say with your body what you feel than with words. And with like a haiku, it was really at the end impressive what we had to say, I think. So I loved it, and I think I'm gonna do that with students. I really like it.
That's beautiful.
Hey, Tony.
Go ahead, Harry.
It's me. You remember way back when we were trained to be trainers, let's say, at CF. And Renee, you remember those years with the youth program and the Springboard program. And I remember we did a program in San Diego in the Winterfest with Greg and Siri. And the agony was always this discomfort that you had before the sessions, planning and thinking and arguing and this and that and the other. So the big thing for me this year actually is this comfort that we all have with the discomforts of technology. That back then it was, are we doing it right? And are the participants going to get what we want them to get? Then in the last year and a half, it's been, oh my God, here's another platform, and here's Miro and Myra and this and that and all these other things. And I was watching Greg this morning, how comfortable he was screwing up his slides, but yet it didn't matter because the comfort of knowing the material is so much greater than the technology, that we have all overcome this nonsense of, hey, you know what, the internet was down or the Wi-Fi didn't work right or this. So I guess the big take for me was in this part, how comfortable we've become with the discomforts of all these new challenges that they're thrown at doing this the right way. And of course, it all goes back to Beth and company that these guys have done a terrific job.
Yeah, you have a lovely build on your thought, Harry, and well stated. And Marta added that content is the hero and technology is the sidekick. I love
That's
that.
right.
It's a great
That's
way
right.
to put it. And I've often, I love to share the story of younger people coming in that are imbued with the social networking platforms, and it's almost like the novelty of the social networking is the medium. But when we were hiring for a communicator, mainly on social networking in this program that I work with, I hired someone that came from the old school world of advertising that knew how to tell a story. And that really points up what your point is, Marta, is that the content needs to carry the day, not the novelty of the technology. And again, I'd like to just shout out to Beth and also Missy, who had to step away. But Missy and Beth basically designed everything that you see here, and Jane and all the wings. And we got Mike and Ray on here and all the CPSI volunteers to overcome the technology and to partner with it so that we could have this deep, rich, personal experience. I'm one of many that have been part of this for the last 3 weeks. And, I hear people talk about Zoom fatigue, and I may be of a different mindset. I don't mind it so much, but I know what people feel. But I think if any place overcomes it, and Leo, you put it many times throughout this session in your chat about how this place is now better than South by Southwest. Woo! I love that. But the point I think you're making is that we do lean into each other and reach right through the technology. There's no point in this technology. It's the magic of CPSI, and that's what I tried to convey here among us. And what I'll ask of you is that you have your image now. You have your markings. It's a shorthand to everything that you just experienced in the last 40 minutes or so, and everything you just experienced in the last 3 weeks, and what you'd like to carry with you. So now you have a symbol that's an easy reference point to remember when you need it. Take a picture of it, put it on your phone, make it your screensaver, put it on your phone screensaver so that you inadvertently see it out of the corner of your eye. It's one of the greatest pieces of magic I've ever gotten at CPSI. First of all, meeting Joe Miguez, who is also not with us, but our beautiful guru and guide in the labyrinth. He brought the labyrinth to CPSI, and he taught me how to walk the labyrinth as part of it, and how the labyrinth experience is a metaphor for walking in our lives. And what he said was, don't look down at the path. The path will guide you in it, almost inexplicably. And what I started to notice out of the corners of my eye was glimpses of the entire universe coming to me. CPSI has those pieces of magic, and I've had many, many deep experiences. I think of a session that Rosie Deerhart gave several years ago, where I was 3 inches away from somebody, and we were just gazing into each other's eyes, and it went definitely past the visceral into our spirits. And hopefully you got a little taste of it today, over the last 3 weeks, and carry with you. So I thank you all for your loving energy. We'll be closing soon. I hope you all can join at 1. Any closing thoughts? Put them in the chat. Get on the mic. Tell us.
Tony, we have a question from Renee. Question or comment?
Yeah, it's definitely not a question. I did just put in the chat too, an ongoing theme for me for for this SIPSI, it started with opening and reminding us the power and the impact of drawing. And then it carried through into so many sessions. So for me, it was that richness of the drawing and how that helps with the drawing out of whatever the message is externally, internally. And then Tony, you just brought it all back for me when you mentioned Rosalie, because I did a breakout session with her at my very first SIPSI. And I talk about this in the work that I do with sexual violence survivors. That was my biggest breakthrough to healing, happened in that session. And that's why I used creativity as the base of my work in helping sexual violence survivors heal, because there's so much power in what we share here and what we do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And, you know, I'm on the parade to, you know, so many people in industry, you know, you hear these surveys and how creativity and innovation is at the top of the list, but they still talk about it as a soft skill. And to your point, Marta, the challenge and fear and energy needed to cross the line. And I can still, one of the things that keeps me coming back was seeing my own feeling when I got the CPS process internalized, and then when I started teaching SIPSI, like Harry in those groups where we put together our session, and watching it on the second and a half day or third day, those looks on people's faces when the revelation happened to them. You know, like that scene with I can't think of the woman, the miracle worker, you know, where the image of water became real to her.
Helen Keller.
Helen Keller. You know, that I feel like the scales fall off our eyes year after year, and you're sharing this with me. You know, like especially the work that Mary Ellen and Cheryl do with imagery and poetry, and what we're doing is. You know, I'm a belief that, you know, as people think language is the precision of our existence, I think it's actually a false precision. Our feelings are much more precise and honest about who we are. And if we can overcome our thoughts and move to action, that's what I tried to do today, is get you to have some connection to your feelings about what happened and move toward some actions you're going to take. And I hope you wrote down some nice ones and you keep those as handy as, and your image is your touchstone. It's a little amulet. It's a little talisman or taliswoman. Any closing thoughts?
I have, there was a video that is a couple years old, but I just had a friend share it in the last couple days. Perhaps you've seen it. It's a young man who is Dutch, and he's a polyglot, and he would speak either Dutch or English with tourists in his area, and then he knew 18 other languages that when he started speaking with them in their native language, how they reacted. He heard that they were just speaking with somebody who was either speaking Dutch or English, and the crux of the video was how their facial expressions and joy and just how they reacted when somebody unexpectedly started speaking their language. And I thought, metaphor. And so that's one of the things about SIPSI that has always been a great thing, is that sometimes here out in the wild, in non-SIPSI world, you feel like nobody's speaking your language, or that crowd that maybe does speak your language isn't around you enough. And then all of a sudden, here you come into SIPSI, where it's metaphorical secret handshakes of the mind. And it's really just, we not only understand the technical language of each other, but we understand the language of the heart and mind that you were just referring to. And so that video just sort of spoke to me on a couple different levels.
I'd say about 30 different levels. Just that phrase, metaphorical secret handshakes of the mind. I think
New-
you just have
New
a
band
book
name.
title.
New band name, I call it. And I am playing the flute.
Any other thoughts? A lot of great stuff in here, folks. And appreciate the love and love right back at you all for hanging in and playing along. Oh, we got a band going here. So what else, Beth? What do we do now?
Now we tell everybody to go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, go outside, inhale, exhale some fresh air, and then come back. We will open up the closing room earlier if you want to like go to breakout rooms and chat with people. So around 12:30, 12:40, we'll open up the closing Zoom for all y'all to continue to share the metaphorical what Jane said.
Put, one word in on leaving the session that you're going to take with you. Just let's get it down to one word.
Oh, I like that.
And we'll off we go. So as you're leaving, just give us a quick word, and we'll leave it with a expansion, inspiration, curiosity, inspired, illuminating, drawing. Yes. Fantastic. Share. Perspective. Courage. Imaginating. Open. Bravery. You're all lovely.
Tony, thank you so much for putting a fantastic bow on CPSI 2021. This has been wonderful. You did, somebody sparked, I did the math, and this CPSI, I've been on Zoom for 100 hours. That's a perfect score.
I'm loving the smiles I'm seeing on the screen. That's what's really showing me just some.
It's the Die Hard. Some of you have been on almost as many hours.
Yeah. Gorgeous, just gorgeous.
Oh, thank you all so much for making this and every session fantastic. Extra bonus shout out for the wings, Mike and Ray, and all of the wings this year. Y'all, dang, fantastic. And thank you for the chats and the participation and the insight and the book recommendations. As always, CPSI participants, take a bar and just like step on top and then reach up and grab a higher one and flip over that one too. So thank you all. Mwah. And I will see you back here in an hour. No, 40 minutes, half an hour. I can math.
As I joke with my kids, don't forget to click like. Bye.
Click like and subscribe.